Hello everyone, it's Daniel here, and welcome to the first review on my channel. If you do see on my channel, you see I was in a lot of drama recently, but now I'm out of it. I'm out of the drama now, so we can finally move on with our lives. Woohoo! Yay! Celebrate! Anyway, this is my first movie review. You can see the title right here. It's called 100% Wolf. And if you asked me what I thought about it about 2 days ago, I would have called it, this is the worst film ever made. But no, that trophy's got to go to War of the Worlds 2025. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. This movie is not good, and it's in fact awful in every way. And I'm going to tell you the reasons, not really why, but how it sucks. Number one is the main character, this guy right here in the center. His name is Freddie Lupin. He is at the beginning of the movie, he's a kid who wants to be a wolf, like his fellow family. If you don't know who the Lupins are in this movie, it's a family of humans that can turn into werewolves. I wouldn't say that, but they can turn into humanoid wolves at night due to the power of the moon. Yeah, due to the power of the moon. Honestly, if this universe existed in Despicable Me, they'd be screwed because Gru probably would have stolen them because Gru stole the moon. Anyway, moving on. So there's this family of humans that turns into wolves due to something called a moon spell. The movie doesn't really explain it that well. Anyway, so the movie starts with this guy. Yeah, this guy right here. His name is, I forgot. Oh wait, no, his name's Flashheart. Yeah, Flashheart. This guy's name is Flashheart. Flashlight. Anyway, his name's called Flashheart, and he is the father of the main character named Freddie Lupin. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm going through a lot today. I've been going through a lot. Okay, sorry for my speech cracks and stuff. Anyway, so this movie is about one of the weirdest premises I've ever seen in my life. So the point is, this guy right here, up here, the stupid red guy, redhead. Oh, I mean, nothing wrong with redheads. Just I hate this guy. His name is, I forgot his name. Hold on, just let me figure it out. Oh yeah, his name's Hoodspa. Yeah, I'm not kidding. His name is Hoodspa. Well, that's a interesting name. Anyway, so the movie starts with some kid running around. I can't show any footage because I don't want this video to get copyright claimed. Although it kind of will be if I use this poster. So we're gonna move on to another section. There we go, another poster. Anyway, so the plot of this movie is that I've already told you that Freddie Lupin wants to become a wolf, and the reason why for the wolf family and stuff like that. So I'm going to tell you what this life story is. See, his life story was that he was a kid who he kind of sucked. He sucked, man. I mean, he was constantly getting into trouble. I mean, his family once went into a burning building to save people, and then he didn't. And then he went in there despite the fact he's not a wolf yet, and he doesn't know how to count. Anyway, so not Flashheart. Flashheart's his dad. Yes. So Flashheart's his dad, and his stupid brother Hoodspa is kind of stupid. And you can blatantly tell he's evil because in if you just look up the movie and you'll see what I mean. You can watch an entire clip of it. I don't really care. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. I had to get something off my chest. Yes. Anyway. So, Freddy Lupin was busy messing around. He's been kind of a joke. And Hoodsbud tells him to not get in the way, and he promises not to. And then there's a montage, and you can see that most of it is literally just Hoodsbud's fault. I mean, he probably would have failed even if Freddy wasn't there. But that's not the point. The point is that he sucks, and that's all. And then for some reason, there's this huge plot point in the movie where, for some reason, the wolves hate dogs for some reason. I'm not sure why they hate dogs, but they do. Despite the fact they're essentially the same kind. So I guess they're caught in a racist war or something. I don't know. Yeah. So then there's an so then they so Freddy decides Flashheart decides to take Freddy home because Freddy's being a huge nuisance and a nerd. So anyway, they're on their way home, running through the forest, and then there's this ice cream truck driver. I'm gonna look him up. I'll show you a picture. Okay, his name is Foxwell Crip. Okay, that's a stupid name. Anyway, he looks like if you look closely, he looks like the bowler hat guy from Meet the Robinsons. Yeah, see, he looks like the guy. They look basically the same, except for the mustaches. The mustaches are quite comparable in size. Anyway, back to this. So, who the heck is that? Get out of my review, freak. Anyway, so the ice cream man nearly runs over child Freddy, and Flashheart thankfully saves him. But the ice cream guy, or Crip, I'm gonna call him Crisp. So Crisp was all scared and stuff, and this is literally his voice. Oh no! The kid's been captured or something. I don't know. It sounds like a mix between a squeaky or British person. Nothing against the British, obviously. Anyway, so they ask him how they ask them. So Freddy asks Flashheart, who saved him from the road, asks him why they are hiding from the humans, and they're saying, and Flashheart's response is, "Humans don't trust us." I see. Humans don't trust people, eh? Also, apologies for this ugly poster. I'm gonna change it. There's this poster. There's this poster on Reddit. It's just a bunch of PNGs, but that's really funny. I mean, that's what the movie basically is, just PNGs. Anyway, so Freddy asks Flashheart why they need to hide from the humans, and Flashheart's response is that humans wouldn't trust them. It doesn't really make any sense. I mean, if they want to be kept secret so bad, then why are they going out saving people like a bunch of superheroes? So apologies if I didn't mention that in the review. I mean, they say they're basically like they're basically just furry Batman but no gadgets. Okay, maybe exactly like that. Anyway, so they do show up, and so Freddy is busy talking with Flashheart on some rock that's shaped like a wolf. Foreshadowing. And then Freddy just randomly mentions his mom because, oh no, it's a kids movie. We can't have a kids movie without a dead relative. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, honestly. Anyway, so they're having a talk about something, but then they're interrupted by the ice cream man. The ice cream man's all like, "Hello, boy, where are you? I don't know where you are." Jeez, this video is nearly like 10 minutes long. Honestly, it's probably going to be an hour-long video when we finish. So, for consistency's sake, let's move on to another. All right, here's the poster. God, all these people look ugly. Who the heck is that? Look at this nerd. Who's this girl? It's just like the goth kid in class. Got Fatty McChubberson. We got this creepo lady who's visited Hot Topic way too much. There's this kid with a tooth out. Don't know why. Looks like Chowder. Wait, no. Yeah, he looks like Chowder from Monster House. And there's this kid with devil horns. It's stupid. Oh no, we got this girl. I bet she's the sassy girl who's on her phone in class. And there's this cat girl who's got cat ears and fangs. She probably has a DeviantArt account. I don't know. They're reading a book about something, and whoever this is, his eyes are open, whatever. Anyway. So, back to the story at hand. I'm sorry I'm constantly going off topic. I just really hate this series and everything it stands for. I mean, no disrespect to the creators, obviously, but this work just sucks, man. Anyway, so the ice cream man Crisp comes looking for Kid Freddy, but then he runs into Flashheart by accident, and he starts doing these obnoxious karate chop moves, going wah wah wah, and going flipping and kicking and stuff like that, going all I know kung fu. And I don't really think he does know kung fu. So then he falls off the cliff Freddy and Flashheart were talking on. Flashheart luckily grabs him and saves him, but then Crisp kicks him in the face, and Crisp, for some unknown reason, somehow climbs back up, but Flashheart falls, despite the fact he's a werewolf, and last I checked, aren't they more sturdier and stronger than humans? Apparently not. Anyway, so then Flashheart. Flashheart's gone. So, Hutzpah comes out of nowhere and grabs the kid Freddy, and Freddy drops this glowing blue ball. Apparently, it's an amulet or something. Crisp grabs it. He sees the kid being taken away by the werewolf, but he doesn't do anything about it. He's just all like, "Wait, boy, come back!" And he doesn't do anything. So, I mean, what if he was a kid that was gonna get eaten by the werewolf? I mean, he'd probably be shamed in this town for not doing anything about it. Anyway, moving on. So, they have a funeral for him for some reason, even though they couldn't find the body. Wait. They said that they couldn't find the body, meaning that Flashheart would still be alive. Right? I just realized that's a major plot hole in the movie. If they couldn't find his body, that'd mean he'd be alive, right? I mean, there's no way he'd be dead at the top of the rock. Anyway, so a couple years pass, and Freddy is now a teenager. He's like 13 in the time skip. So now and he comes out of the bed looking for his like shoes or something. So he's in his room, and then he slips and falls and nearly falls out of the window, but he luckily catches himself somehow out of his room window. And there's like a festival or something going on outside. And then there's this rock band of rock and roll wolf people that show up. They look like the most bland goth characters you could ever see. I'm not talking people like Luna from Hell of a Boss or Raven from Teen Titans. I'm not talking any of those guys. I'm talking like sick smooth band moves and stuff like that. And they're constantly saying bruh when they have guitars and stuff. Anyway, so then we cut to a scene where Flashheart. No, I keep dang it. I keep getting the names mixed up. Not my fault though. It doesn't make any sense. Chutzpah is arguing with the pack leaders. Let's find the video. Let's see. This looks ugly. Wait, get back here. Texas version. There we go. All right, let's look at all these losers. All right, here we go. We got Fatty McFatterson kid again. Ew. Oh my god, ew. This is so furry bait. If you're mesmerized by this, you're welcome. Just gonna move on to this. Rise. Anyway, so Freddy's busy and stuff like that. Sorry about that. Had to deal with a YouTuber just commented to me. So anyway, what was that? Oh yeah. So not Flashheart. Just stop saying Flashheart. Anyway, it's Chutzpah. Yes, Chutzpah is arguing with the pack leaders, saying that Freddy is not allowed to be the leader of the pack yet, considering he's not experienced enough. But then he immediately switches the topic up to bragging about his quote unquote dog shelter. It's kind of stupid, honestly. He's all like, I put the nasty pups where they belong. Isn't that kind of stupid? Someone who hates dogs makes a dog pound to keep dogs safe. This is so dumb. That is so stupid. I cannot believe that. Anyway, jeez, I've been ranting. I've been just talking for 17 minutes now. Anyway, so it's the night. So apparently, it's the night where Freddy gets to be turned into a wolf. Okay, so he goes down there, and he goes to the ritual room. No, the ceremony room. The ceremony room, where all the family members turn into wolves. Oh my god, they got a TikTok account. That's disgusting. Alright, we can't do that. Get ready for a new werewolf adventure. Anyway, so he goes to the ceremony room, and so to turn into a wolf, and all the other family members around him turn into wolves. So the king and queen, apparently their names are Lady Hightail and King Houndini. The amount of dumb names these people will have never cease to amaze me, and how dumb they are. What kind of name is Lady Hightail? That's a stupid name. Anyway, so he goes to the ceremony. And then all his family members turn into a wolf. And they tell him to step into the light. So he does. He steps into the light. But then some weird wonky thing happens where he goes all shaken, tongue sticking out, whoa, noodly humor like cartoon. Anyway, sorry about that. Had to deal with some issues. Anyway, so a big puff of smoke shows up, and he turns from a human into a poodle to what you see here before you. And it doesn't make any sense. And before you ask, no, the movie never bothers to explain why he was turned into a wolf. Well, the movie tries to explain it by saying that Flashheart, that he lost the Moonstone, even though the Moonstone is the shiny orb that the kid dropped at the beginning of the movie. By the way, sorry I never told you guys about it. I mean, I didn't want to spoil the quote unquote surprise. Anyway, haha. Anyway, so for some reason, the moon spirits or whatever, the family blames Freddy they blame Freddy for losing the stone, despite the fact it was Hoodspud's fault. He yanked the kid away and he dropped it. So it's not, but it's all Freddy's fault. Should have kept a better grip on something that was literally huge in his small hands. What an idiotic rule and an idiotic, pathetic explanation for such a stupid plot point. And also, there's a sequel to this, and there's even a show to this. 2 shows, in fact. And they never explain it. They never explain why he's a poodle. They never explain it. I don't get why. I'd love to hear an explanation, please. Thank you. Anyway, so the family tells him that, oh, Freddy, you disgraced our family and you disgraced your father's name. How can you disgrace someone's name when you all have the same name? You all live in the same family. These family rules are so stupid in this movie, man. So then Freddy runs away. He goes to look at some picture, and then there's these 2 bratty redhead kids. I swear this movie hates redheads. So they kidnap Freddy and they lock him up in the attic where they put dye on his hair and ears and his tail too. So now he looks like the ugly abomination you see before. He looks like the ugly abomination you see before you. This is I hate it, man. It looks ugly. So then he runs off. He runs out of the house. So he runs out of the house and away from home. He goes to a truck and he sleeps in it for a couple seconds. Then he nearly gets hit by an oncoming train. Or no, car. He nearly gets hit by an oncoming car. And then a dog named Batty saves him. And this is the dog and this is the dog that's mentioned. Her name is Batty. She is, how can I put it? Incredibly annoying. She's so sassy and stuff like that. So she's in the movie she's our secondary protagonist for this film. So, yay. She's sassy and she talks like a what are those insufferable ladies? Those girls, I don't know. Those kind of girls you find on like TikTok and Instagram or whatever. Anyway, so thanks, car. Anyway, so Batty asks Freddy, hey, who are you? What do you want from me? I smell wolf on you or whatever. And Freddy's all like, ew, no, go away, stupid dog. Despite the fact he turned into a poodle. Oh wait, no, never mind. The family's racist towards dogs. Despite the fact that they're a werewolf, they're werewolves, essentially humanoid version of dogs. That, I don't know, the rules of this film are so stupid. So anyway, there's these 2 fat animal control people. Alright, sorry the picture's blurry, but I'd rather watch the whole movie in blur. Anyway, so Batty takes Freddy to the life of being a dog, which has its fair share of stupid moments. There's this one where they throw a bone to each other and their tails are wagging and stuff. And there's this weird love song playing like they're gonna be in a romantic relationship. Dude, I don't think movie, I don't think you should be doing that. It's not time yet. We're barely 30 minutes in. And then, but remember, this is a cartoon dog movie. You can't have a cartoon dog movie without a pissing joke. There's literally a joke where Freddy sniffs a pile of piss, and there's a bunch of dogs, and then he sees a bunch of other dogs doing it and going to the bath, taking a piss on the fire hydrants. It's honestly disgusting. Ew, yuck. Anyway, So he's busy. So after this whole montage, Freddy tries to tell Batty his story. But Batty was talking about her story about why she was left alone in a shelter because apparently she was a quote-unquote bratty dog to her owners. Despite I don't even know. Her owners got rid of her just because she doesn't like the new cat. Well, to be honest, Batty's owners are really freaking stupid. I mean, that's what you get for being dumb, owners. Anyway, so after this, the two fat animal control people I mentioned before catch them, and they take him to this stupid pound facility where they meet this dumb lady. I don't even know her name. She's this dumb blonde lady who talks like, "Oh, you're ugly." What a stupid kind of voice is that? Anyway, so then there's this joke, quote unquote, in the movie where Freddy gets taken to this machine, and it's basically like a thermatologist office, except for one thing. He gets a thermometer shoved up his butt. I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. He gets a thermometer shoved up his butt. This movie is messed up, man. Anyway, moving on from that disgusting joke. Anyway, moving on from that. Okay, it's time to focus on my first point here. Freddy is not a likable main character. He is not. For one, he is incredibly bland and boring, and he's one of those characters that go like, "I want to live up to my father's expectations." Well, let's bring up this is completely unrelated, but let's bring up a different character for this who has the same story. This is Stanford U from Mecha Cadets. He has the same enthusiasm, let's say, as Freddy. He wants to live up to his father's expectations. But the reason why Freddy works so well is because... no, not Freddy. The reason why Freddy doesn't work and Stanford does is that we can see in some flashbacks, and we can also tell from the dialogue that Stanford had a great life before he was taken in by the Robos. He had a great father too, and he wanted to live up. He stressed himself out by wanting to live up to his expectations of his father, who gassed his ideals up, saying that he could get a Robo in the show. But the reason why he works is because the story. Because of the way he's written. Stanford is written in a way where you can agree with him and disagree with him at the same time. Yes, you can be angry at him that he disobeyed a direct order, but you could also make the argument that he did it to save his parents in the war. Yeah. And back to Freddy. Freddy does not work because we don't really see much of his backstory and stuff. We are barely even told of it, to be honest. I think I should do a video about Stanford versus Freddy. See who'd win in a writing battle. Maybe. Let me know if I should do that, by the way. Anyway, so back to that. So they get captured, and then Freddy's put in like a cell or something. Yeah, he's put in a cell where he's met by 3 dogs. One of them's named Brophy? I don't know. The other one's named Hamlet. Yeah, ironic. And then the third and final member, I gotta show you because she's the best character in the whole movie. Meet Twitchy, aka the best character in the entirety of the movie. The angry chihuahua looking thing. That's Chewy. Chewy. Twitchy. So the reason why Twitchy is the best character in the movie is because she perfectly reflects my feelings on this movie. I would show you some clips, but again, I don't want to get copyrighted. She's constantly angry all the time, and she's constantly, let's say, self-conscious about her size. She doesn't like it when people say that she's quote-unquote small, which, I mean, she is, but she doesn't like being told that she's small. She really hates it, by the way. So. And the reason why Twitchy is also the best character is because of the way of her, let's say, her comedy. Her comedy is kind of funny at some points. It's kind of funny how the small angry character somehow could carry this entire franchise on her back. Yeah. She carries the whole franchise on her back. Kind of funny, right? We don't really see her that much in the show. Anyway, oh yeah, and apparently Lauren Gray voices her. I mean, she's a nice actor, I guess. Back to the stupid movie. Anyway, so Chutzpah knowing about the entirety of the situation comes to go see Freddy. And by meaning that, I mean he's gonna go steal something. He's gonna go steal the amulet. Or the moonstone. I've lost track of what it's called. So and the reason why is because he's kind of stupid. His reason why he wants the moonstone is so he can become it's just so he can become the king of the pack. He wants to be the leader. And he's basically a ripoff of Scar from The Lion King. They both want to overthrow their brothers. They both technically almost succeeded, and they both treat everyone like they're stupid. So then there's this weird maid granny lady I forgot to mention. She's like that nanny from the granny from Madagascar. You know, the one that hits lions with her purse. Yeah. That lady. Anyway, so honestly, you guys should just make like a game of how many times I say anyway. If you do, you're probably gonna. I'm not talking like alcohol or anything like that. I'm talking like water, soda, tea, non-alcoholic beverages. I mean, yeah, like that. Yeah. Or maybe if you're old enough to get like a cup of coffee. I don't know. So Flashheart shows up. He steals the amulet from Freddy, and he just says his plan outright to his face, going all, "Muhaha! I'm gonna steal the pack from you. You don't deserve to be the leader of the pack." So Freddy is upset at this when he's put back in the prison, and he and the dogs and Twitchy decide to cause some commotion, and so they do. So the owner of the establishment shows up, and she's all like, "Ooh, it's just stupid dog." And then the worst scene in the whole movie happens. Freddy pees on the owner's leg, and then the other dog shows up. He's a Rottweiler, by the way. or no, the female one, the female version of a Rottweiler. I don't know. Think Alpha from Up, the dog. So he shows up and he starts biting Freddy, or tossing him, rolling him around like a squeaky toy. All the while, Freddy's pissing literally everywhere, all over the walls, the floor. I mean, it's the glass. I mean, no, I mean it's disgusting. If you were there when you saw this movie with me, you would have seen me on the floor in agony at how awful that scene was. So moving on from that weird joke, that incredibly weird one. So I'm sorry, I'm kind of tired, man. I've been ranting for like 40 minutes, nearly 40 minutes now. No, 30. Don't worry, we're almost done. So the owner of this establishment gets so upset that she throws Freddy down into a well or something. She throws him down to the back door area, where he's kind of a little scared or something, because the owner of the establishment mentioned there was a quote unquote beast living in there that eats dogs. I mean that sounds like a fairy tale, but I don't believe in those anyway. So, sorry. So Freddy sees this quote unquote monster and then tries to run away, but he cannot. He has to crawl through the vents, but then he falls. He falls out the vent and back into the monster's arms, let's say. The monster's all like, "Where did you steal this?" And then Freddy's all like, "Oh, I didn't steal it." And then he jumps back. Then it turns out it was Flashheart the whole time. The monster was Flashheart. So the movie gives us an explanation about why he disappeared. So apparently we flash back all the way back to the beginning of the movie, where he supposedly died, quote unquote. So he fell off the cliff. He was okay. He was just slightly weakened, but then the truck drivers, then the fat control police guys, literally showed up, and then they somehow dragged a werewolf into their car with only the dog pound sticks. Okay, that doesn't make any sense. This werewolf is stronger than the average human. There is no way a fat guy and a skinny guy should be able to take him on. That doesn't make sense at all. At all. So then he gets dragged to the down water belows in the flashback. And then so Flashheart's locked up, and then what was his name again? I don't care anymore. I'm gonna call him. Anyway, the villain shows up. The villain shows up and puts metal chains on Flashheart. Oh yeah, no, Chutzpah. Chutzpah puts metal chains on Flashheart, and he's all like, "Goodbye, brother. It's my turn to rule, and there's nothing you can do about it." That doesn't make any sense. Literally, just if you hate this kind of thing, don't watch The Lion King with the uncle versus brother thing. I mean, it's handled way better in that movie, but if you hate this kind of trope, don't watch it. But if you have, good for you. Just don't watch the remake. Sorry. Terrible yawning. So Freddy shows up. No, not Freddy. So Batty hatches a plan, and they somehow open the gate using a dog bone, and they successfully jump down into the sewer, where Flashheart finished talking about his flashback. So And then they ambush him, fighting, punch, 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 kick, tail whapper, whatever. And then Freddy quickly explains to them that they are his dad. Or no, he explains to his friends that Flashheart's his dad. So everything's all cleared up now. And they enter through a ventilation system. Insert Among Us joke here. So they go and they fix it up. They fix up the cell and they get out. They go through the vents and they end up in the sewers, where the owner of the establishment and the fat controller people somehow caught up to them, despite the fact there was no alarms detailing on talking about why they escaped. And then that granny I mentioned from earlier comes around, rolling around on a motorcycle out of nowhere and goes fighting them with kung fu skills. And it's crazy, man. You gotta watch the movie for yourself. No, don't watch the movie. It's awful. But if you want to watch the movie for everything I have to say, then you should, kinda. So anyway, they escape and they end up on a train somewhere, since this is the sewer and a subway. So they end up on top of the train, and since Freddy took the silver band off, or rather, Flashheart took it off. The sun, his body starts reacting to the sun, because you see, the werewolves can't be in the sun because they'll turn into a human. And then the cringiest, most eye-vomiting thing happens. He turns into a human, and he's all like, "Yes, I'm a boy. You can look now." And turns out he's naked. And then and then there's a hot dog, and then there's literally a guy with a hot dog stand going on, "Wieners, get your wieners." They literally made a dick joke in a kids movie. What the heck? Anyway, so back to that horrifying assault you probably pictured in your eyes right now. I'm so sorry you had to see that in your mind. Get it out before it destroys you. I mean, probably already did, but sorry. So they somehow sneak back to the house, and Flashheart's busy pitching his idea. Yes, the Dog Shredder 3000. To turn dogs into wigs for some reason. Even though it's a dog pound. And he literally had to sign a request saying not to hurt the dogs. But then he's a freaking loser. So who cares? He's racist. He's a literal racist. Anyway. But then Freddy shows up to stop him, and then Chutzpah's all like, "Get this stupid boy out of here!" And then it turns out Flashheart's alive and roars despite the fact he's a werewolf. So wouldn't it be howling? Anyway, so then that was cool, I guess. No, it's not cool. It's not cool. It's terrible, actually. So then, just as they're about to talk, they hear an ice cream truck, and it turns out it's Crisp. It's Crisp from the beginning of the movie. He's all like, "Yeah, I found you, wolves, so now it's time to take you all down." So he starts shooting at them with some gun that literally shoots silver pellet balls or something. So he dies. So he shoots at them with it. But then Freddy tries to talk him out of it, going on, "Wait, stop. And it turns out, and then Crisp sees him and realizes it's the boy from the beginning of the movie. And he's all like, "But you're the boy. I saw you get eaten." Despite the fact he didn't get eaten. He didn't even see him get eaten. He just got dragged away. But then Flash, no, not Flashheart. Flashheart gets knocked out by the ball, the silver balls, and then the villain shows up and knocks Crisp out, which nearly presses the button to shred all dogs to turn into wigs. And something crazy happens. And speaking of the dog thing, back at the dog pound, the old lady and the owner of the establishment of the dog pound are fighting, doing like kung fu skills or something. I don't know how. Doesn't make any sense. And then they do that stupid needle butt joke thing again with the old lady, which doesn't make any sense. I thought it was only made for dogs. I don't know. It's freaking stupid. Move on. Move on. Moving on with this. That looks like shit. Anyway. So they finish it up. And they try to get out. But it turns out, oh no! Oh no, the machine turned on. But then Twitchy, the savior of this movie, comes in and literally saves the movie. Sort of. I mean, she saves the scene she's in, but... And then, so she gets eaten by the machine, but she somehow destroys it with the power of her anger for somebody calling her little. And so she ends up escaping and destroying the whole machine, which causes all the dogs to escape from the confinement. And so they end up leaving. And meanwhile, back at with the Lupin family, Chutzpah and Freddy are fighting, and actually, no, Freddy's just running away. Chutzpah's chasing him. So they end up on top of the roof, and then Flash. I'm never gonna get their names right. Jeez. Still more of this to go. A few more minutes of the movie. And all I've shown you is just pictures. Anyway. So they chase each other onto a rooftop where Freddy is cornered, but he sees a piece of the moon left. Well, not a piece of it. I mean, he sees a bit of moonlight left. So he backs up into it and he says, I know who I am. And then he turns into a poodle? I'm sorry, what? That is dumb. That is just dumb. That is so dumb. It doesn't make any sense on why he wanted to be a poodle. I mean, he spent the whole movie complaining about why he didn't like being a poodle. He didn't want to be a dog. But no, apparently this whole journey was for nothing. Nothing, you hear me? Nothing. It's all for nothing. So then Freddy uses some wolf powers or whatever to do a roar, which should be a bark and a howl. They're not lions, they're wolves. So then Flashheart was knocked out, but he wakes up to say, good job, son, or something. And then Chutzpah gets knocked off the roof all the way to the bottom of the chamber and on top of the ice cream thing where he gets silverized or whatever. And then a few days later, it takes place after they're living a happy life. The dogs are actually. The wolves and dogs are getting along. They're no longer racist towards each other, which is, thank goodness. That's good. Then Freddy gives Batty a new house, but she ends up sleeping in the gift box he got. So, oh well. And in the movie, and the dogs are all free and stuff like that. And it turns out Freddy is not ready to become the pack leader yet. Since his dad's back, he's gonna stay for the I'm gonna say sidekick, second in command. I don't know. So they run off, and the movie ends. with all honesty, with at the bottom of my heart, this movie sucked. It was horrible. The characters were terrible. The writing was bad. The jokes were awful. So in conclusion, if you've seen this movie before, tell me what you think. Tell me what you think of it. Do you agree with my opinions, or do you have a different opinion? Feel free to let me know in the comments below. And if you do disagree with me, tell me your reasons why. We don't need to attack each other or be rude or anything like that. We can just talk it out and we can explain our different opinions. However, if you have seen this movie and you agree with me, then good for you. We're on the same boat, but the boat was rapidly sinking because of how many people don't really like this movie. But there's bad news. There's a sequel. Yup, there's an entire sequel dedicated to this stupid movie. And now it's gonna be a complete and utter failure. This movie was awful, and I give it a 0 out of 10. And a 1.5 stars. That's my version of a 0. Star related. And I cannot wait to see what the sequel will bring us. And speaking of, this is the sequel. Meaning there's going to be a second video detailing this. Yay! Joy! You guys can join me on this journey to see what garbage we'll be manifesting into. Well, anyway, feel free to let me know of the video. Let me like in the comments. This video is like a whole cartoon movie long. So, see you later. Bye bye.